Hey, Matt.
Hey, Mike.
I guess we should do a podcast.
Yeah?
Okay, here we go.
I can't get any higher than that with my voice, so.
That's fine. Welcome to Hacking the Grepson.
Yes,
welcome
it's
to
very
Hacking
good to
the
be here.
Welcome to Hacking the Grepson, a podcast about programming and development and related topics. It also used to be a game dev podcast before the holidays, so I guess we should maybe go back to that. What do you think?
What's a game? No, having some fun would be really nice. I say, yeah, let's talk games.
Let's talk games. Okay, so obviously, because we were doing Advent of Code and the holidays happen, I have not done any actual game development, so we don't have anything to talk about there. But I have been playing a lot of games.
Yeah. The Steam Winter Sale happened, so there's a bunch of new games that came out.
Yeah, let's talk about the games that we've been playing. Why don't you go first, and then I'll go, and then we'll go back and forth. So what game comes first to mind when you think about what you've been playing lately?
Well, the game I'm playing right now is
Neo. Literally while we podcast.
Yes.
Please stop.
Shut up, Mike. I'm trying to concentrate. It's called Neo, Memories in Orbit. It's a Metroidvania where you're a little robot. The world is weird.
It's pretty, though. It's a very pretty game.
It's all hand-drawn, and you have like a 3D view into it, sort of. Like, I don't know how, I don't really know how they did it, but like you can move the mouse, but it doesn't like pan. It like tilts. So it almost looks like you're turning your head to look one way or the other.
Oh, that's wild.
It's really pretty. The character is fun to control, although it is a little bit floatier than I like. Neo is the character. The world is weird because you're trying to, I think you're on a spaceship and you're trying to restore its functionality after some disaster, which we don't know about. But the things you're restoring are like the spine, the heart, the eyes, the blood. And I'm like, so is it a body?
Yeah, you're like in a big robot or something?
Yeah, I don't know. So there's like, the world building is done exactly the way I like, which is very little expository dialogue.
Show, don't tell.
People are talking. Exactly. People are talking. Well, robots are talking as you walk by. Sometimes you can talk to them. You don't have to, but they'll have like the option, and they'll say something like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You know, I remember when the eye was open or whatever. There's like a main nexus that you start at. And so when you die, you always come back there. And there's like, I don't really know what to call it, like a guardian or something. It has a name, but heck, if I can remember it, that's probably the biggest source of lore because they're telling you what to go do. Go repair these things. But it's really fun. You attack basically with your hair, like kind of like a whip, but with your hair. Like you have all these like tendrils floating off of your head, and like it's got combos.
There was an old Nintendo game called Kabuki Quantum Fighter or something like that, and you were like a Kabuki Japanese artist, and you used your hair to hit people. So
my immediate thought was Bayonetta.
Or Bayonetta, sure.
Who also uses her hair. Yeah. I did just get the coolest ability I think I've ever gotten in a Metroidvania, or at least that's it. It was really fun, which was I was expecting to get a wall jump based on the kind of things I was seeing that I couldn't get to. It gave me a wall climb ability, which is cool, but it like your hair comes out like a spider and like any wall almost, and you can climb up it, but you have a very limited resource for how long you can do that. And it's the same resource you use to launch yourself into the air. So like if you want to get really high and then grab something, you can't because you've used up all your momentum. Or you've used up all your energy to do that. It's got a lot. It's very platformy. It's a very aerial based, which is from a fighting perspective, how I like to fight. I don't like slow, clunky, ground based dodge parry attacks. It is very dodge heavy though, which I don't love, even in the air, but it's fairly generous. And I just got a upgrade thing if I want to sacrifice other things I have plugged into my robot to make that window even larger for dodging. So it's pretty generous. I think my favorite aspect of Neo is actually one of its accessibility features. I think they have a different term for it that also begins with A that I'm blanking on. But I turned on 2 of the three that are there. I don't remember what the third one even is. But the first one I turned on is if you just stand still on the ground for a while, you'll heal.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a little tiny
health.
bit. Like barely, like you'll heal one blip. And it's an extra blip. So that's nice. Especially because they just took away one of my health things permanently for no reason.
Well, that's odd.
It's an odd game. But the other one, the one I really like, because that's great for platforming, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna go try that again. I'll just wait a few seconds. I get my health back. I don't have to I can keep going, keep trying. The other thing I really like that I turned on. Oh, it's called assists. That's what these things are called. The other assist I really like is called like brittle boss. And every time you fight a boss, if it kills you, it gets slightly weaker. So what that means from like a Metroidvania perspective is you still are doing that core game loop of fighting a boss of like live, die, repeat. Supposed to learn their patterns, and you still have to do that because the boss is still going through all of its stages and it's doing all the things, and still it's not lowering its difficulty all that much. Like I think it's just a little bit weaker. So I'm sitting there and I'm still learning the patterns and dying, but every time I go back in, it's a little bit easier as well. And so I'm not hitting that level of frustration that I usually hit in Metroid games when I hit a boss. And I'm also not just outright cheating and just, making myself invincible or something, which I've done in like the Prince of Persia game. I think that is a really, really smart assist. And I would like more of those in games. But yeah, that's the big one I'm playing right now. How about you?
Well, while you were talking, I was thinking of a good kind of coda to each of these games, and I think you probably already said it, but I wanted you to tell me like one thing about this game that you definitely would want to take and use in the game we're making, and then one thing that you would want to avoid that you were not a fan of and should never be done.
The assist, the brittle boss assist, if you have something really difficult like that, I think is one of the most clever ways I've seen of handling that. And it doesn't feel cheap as a player.
Yeah.
And I really like it.
It's almost seamless.
Challenge, and if you want the challenge, it's off by default.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask whether that was an opt-in or opt-out thing.
All the assists are off by default.
Yeah.
I just went in, I was like, these are hard. But like yesterday, I beat one of the bosses on my first try. It didn't even hit that.
Yeah.
And I was in the air almost the entire time, so I didn't really get to use the you're standing still on the ground and regenerating health piece either. Save points are pretty close. But yeah, I think that brittle boss thing would be what the main thing I would take somewhere else. Something I don't like. In general, I'm really liking this game, actually.
Okay.
I think possibly the most frustrating part, but I'm kind of enjoying it, which is weird, is the mapping system. I want my maps in a game. I have a poor sense of direction in games. I have a great sense of direction in real life.
Fascinating.
And so I need a map, and there is a map, but it does not draw the map until you go back to a save point or die.
Oh, interesting.
So you can see, like, let's say you have your map and there's a place you haven't gone yet, and you go in there. It shows a vague line in the blank space of where you've roughly been. Really hard. Like you can sometimes drop pins to say come back here, and you can get it more or less where you are without too much difficulty. I don't love that. I would prefer just a straight up map, but it is kind of fun in this particular game. But
yeah,
I would just rather have a good solid map every time. There's times I've died on purpose just because I'm tired of trying to figure. I'm lost. Just get me back. I don't care about this. I have like $6,000 in the game and nothing to spend it on right now because I bought everything that I could.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably the thing.
Okay. No, that's a good answer.
Unexpected boss fights would be the other thing I would say. That it has a lot of that I don't like.
Yeah.
Like you're just walking and then like the door's all shut.
Like there's no telegraphing that you're going to a boss area, you mean?
Not always. I mean, you start to get a feeling for what those rooms look like. I want to tell you about the funniest boss I fought yesterday. You walk in a room and then the door comes off of the wall. It has like an eyeball above it. It comes off the wall and it starts to attack you. It's the door. And then halfway through the game, it spawns another door out of the door. And when you finally beat them, the two doors look at each other really sad. And then they like turn around and they slowly walk towards the walls and make themselves doors again. I was dying. It was the cutest, funniest little ending. I love things like that in games. Like it was
Yeah.
not necessary, but it gave a personality to this world that you could not possibly convey in just words.
No, I love that. That's great. And it's funny
Yeah.
that you're playing a robot game with a disaster motif, because the game that I've probably been playing the most lately is called The Last Caretaker. And it's still in early access, so they still have quite a roadmap of stuff to add. But I would say, it has a good 30 to 40 hours of gameplay, even as is. And without spoiling too much of it, basically you, as a character, as a robot character, wake up kind of like in a facility of some sort, and all the power's out, and there's some disembodied voice talking to you. I still don't understand, even after playing as much as I have, I don't know where that voice is coming from, like who it is who's talking to you. It's almost like you have a little,
Conscience?
AI in your head. Huh?
It's GLaDOS. She's back.
Yeah. It's basically, telling you what to do and where to go. So it's kind of the signposting, but
It looks really pretty. I just have the video playing on Steam right now, and it's very pretty looking.
It's very pretty. It takes place in a like the whole world is basically water world. Everything is flooded, so the whole world is like 99.9% ocean. And to do a little spoiler of like the first couple hours, you realize you're in sort of like a some kind of dock, like harbor, and you get the power back on, and you find a boat that's parked in there, and you get on the boat, and you leave the sanctuary on the boat, and you're like, oh, I'm in Waterworld now, and you do get a goal of where to go and what to do, but I'll save that because you should really play the game to find out what you're doing. But I really like it. The graphics are nice. The sound effects are good. It doesn't have a lot of music except when you're on the boat going to different places. It plays some nice music. You're spending most of your time on the boat going places, reaching points of interest and exploring them, and getting resources and building power and diesel and petrol and stuff. So in order for your boat to move, it needs power, and it has two different engines. It has an electric engine and a diesel engine. And so you have to build solar panels and wind turbines and hook them up with these wiggly squiggly cables to your boat to power it. And you can also build batteries to hold excess power. And as you move, you can turn on both the electric engine or the diesel or some combination of the two if you want to save them. And the boat is pretty realistic. It moves, slowly. Like I think your initial engines only move you maybe like 10, 15 kilometers an hour. But then as you upgrade them, you get up to like 40.
Is there something you're doing while the boat is traveling?
Well, if you ever played Raft, it's kind of like Raft, where while it's moving, you can build stuff on the boat while it's moving. You can repair things. There's a recycler machine that you can throw junk into that gives you resources that you use to build stuff. There's a fabricator.
It's got something you can do in this downtime, because that's my biggest problem with these kind of games is when they're like, okay, you're traveling, and like you're still traveling, and you're just steering the boat.
Yeah,
like.
No,
Wind Waker, to some extent, had that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the area you have to explore in this game thus far, until they add more, is maybe like 20 square kilometers or something like that. So, if you go from one edge to the other, it will take 15, 20 minutes. But in general, you're not going that far between points of interest. But yeah, I mean, I like how realistic it is, because I've played Factorio, I've played Satisfactory, so there's definitely that element to it, is like building a little self-sustaining system of power and, diesel and petrol, and you use like the petrol to fuel a gun, or you use electricity to fuel a different gun, or you build bullets in your fabricator for like a normal rifle kind of thing, because there is a lot of combat. That was one thing that I was surprised.
I was going to ask about that.
There's quite a bit of combat, because when you go to these points of interest, there are enemies. And I would have to say that the enemies in this game are like a weird, interesting mix of like bio and mechanical. So there'll be like a flying little fly-looking robot, but also has like a bio element to it, and you get both scrap and bio scrap. So you get like metal scrap, wire scrap, plastic scrap, and then you turn that into resources that you make stuff. But you also get bio, like weird gooey stuff that you use to fuel your diesel engine. Like you throw that in there and it turns it into diesel and that runs your engine. So it has a lot of realistic systems like that that are fun because I've played games where you're setting up like Satisfactory or Factorio. If you like that kind of gameplay, it has a lot of that, but it also has kind of the action adventure of shooting enemies and exploring things.
How challenging is the combat?
I've basically done all the combat. I've been playing it with my wife, and she really enjoys the factory automation, building, exploring. Does not like the combat.
This is not surprising.
Yeah, so I do a lot of the combat. I mean, I don't think the combat is too difficult. They do like to overwhelm you with lots of enemies, but they're all largely kind of one shot.
They're mobs. It looks like
they're mobs. There are a couple. There's like one specific machine enemy that is more of a bullet sponge, but they're fewer and far between. So it's largely tedious, annoying, not really challenging, I would say.
What's the death loop look like? Do you die and have to start completely over, or does it respawn?
No. Your boat and the points of interest that you visit have save spots, and also the game auto saves, and you can change that to like auto save every minute, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. So in general, I don't die a lot. But when I have died, it's not a big deal. You don't lose the stuff that's on you. You don't have to go back and like get your body or anything like that.
It's listed as a survival game on Steam, and often in those, it's you die and it's over.
No, it's not like that. And you're a robot, so you don't have to eat. You can be underwater infinitely because you don't have oxygen. And there is some underwater. There is some like light Subnautica bit to it, but I would say that's like currently maybe 2 to 3% of the game. Most of the time is on your ship or on one of these points of interest that you're visiting. So I don't know. It's really interesting, but it also has that same like you're the only robot. You find other robots, but they're all broken. So you don't talk to anybody. You don't meet anyone. It's just you and this voice
and the
telling
voice in
you
your
what
head.
to do, and the voice in your head, and you follow it and you do stuff, and it's pretty fun.
That sounds right up my alley.
Yeah.
When it's both out of early access and works on the Steam Deck, which neither is true right now.
No, we are definitely playing it on a moderately beefy PC because, yeah, it does not work on the Steam Deck, and even if you tried, it probably would be horrible performance-wise. So, because it does unfortunately have a lot of performance issues still, and random bugs, and it has crashed randomly because of things. But that's what you get with early access. You kind of have to expect those things.
All right, I'll ask you the same question you asked me.
Okay.
What is something that you really like about this game that you'd want to see, that you'd want to pull into a game that you're making, and what's something that you're like, nope, don't include that?
So I think my favorite part of the game is the loop of going to a point of interest, kind of repowering it, setting up the infrastructure, because it's like all these points of interest are like, the power's out, things need to be repaired. I really like the exploration, find a place, power it up, repair everything, get everything running again, and back to normal. Like, so that loop is fun, but I think the
So like
core
a dungeon in Zelda, like, okay, I'm going through, I'm making it better, and now I'm probably not going back there again.
Yeah, I mean, there is that where I'm like, why am I even doing this? Because I'm never going back there. But you're going there for resources. You're going for the resources, and also occasionally quests that there's like specific places you need to go. But I think I like the idea of something being lived in that it was working at one point, and now you have to go and kind of fix it up and make it better. It's sort of like the remodeling of a home. Dopamine rush where like, ugh, this is not working, but once I'm done with it, it's gonna be humming like nobody's business. I don't know, that is a very satisfying loop, and so that would be a cool. I don't necessarily mean that specific loop, but that idea of something that was working is now broken, and you come in and fix it is a cool thing.
Both our games are doing that. I really like something that you said in there. You said the world is like it's lived in. Mm-hmm. Or was at one point. Now everything's dead. But like everything used to work, and now you're coming in, and that's one of the things I like about Fallout is you can see this deep history, but you're not interacting with all of it. You're just like, this is the consequence. And I know when we started playing our Daggerheart game, our little TTRPG group, that was one of the things you all wanted, was like a Fallout like in that way. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Post-apocalyptic wasteland. I can do that.
Yeah, I
jam.
think it really plays to my personal kind of anthropological interest, in that, like, in a lot of social settings, like, I play much more of an anthropological role where I'm like observing and taking notes on what's happening. And this is kind of that in game form, where I'm like visiting an area that was a thing, but now it isn't. And like, ooh, what was here? Because a lot of the points of interest, they'll have like, like I said, like dead robots sitting around, but they'll be like in a position or on a specific area where like, oh, that was their last position before the world went to poop.
Yeah. Why did they all shut down? Like, it clearly shut down in the middle of something then, if they're like in the middle of doing something.
Yeah, I like that tableau setting of games. So anyway, that's something I would like to take. Something that I don't like as much about the game is, and I think this is not just The Last Caretaker, but this is kind of like every game that I've played in the last, like, since Xbox and to recent, like since we got 3D worlds, I think, is having stuff in the game that you can't do anything with, that's just decorative. Like I know you don't want to just look at 4 blank walls, of rooms connected together with a door that you go into and out. Like, obviously that's not fun, but like the more stuff you add that I can't do anything with is like, I almost don't want to have that thing there if it can't be interacted with, which I know is just a matter of like how much development time you have, the resources. You can't make literally everything interactable, but also, why not make it happen?
Or make it something that you don't care about interacting with, right? Like, that's a totally doable thing. You could put like a painting on the wall. You're not going to interact with that, right?
Yeah.
Or a mirror. You walk by it and see yourself, or whatever. Like, those are fine. But if you're like, oh, here's a computer, now you can't do anything with it. Why'd you put that there? Here's a button. You can't push it. Don't do that to me.
Okay, actually, now that you've said that, the one thing in this game that is sorely underused, and maybe it will be more used in the future, is that there's a terminal on your boat and terminals on the POIs that you can log into. Very rarely you need to log into them to like get access to something, but most of the time they're completely pointless to the gameplay. Like, they do have logs in them, so you pick up lore, and that's where you read the lore in these terminals. But the way it's presented is just not engaging, and so we just don't. And they're not used for anything else. Like, when I think of like good uses of terminals in games, I think of something like Fallout. Like, when you click on a terminal, there is not only lore to read on the terminal, but sometimes there's things to hack and there's a game to play. Like,
there's a gameplay reason to use it.
Yeah. And this game, unfortunately, falls short in that. And once again, maybe they'll add it, but right now it's lacking.
Yeah. So. No, that's one of my favorite things about Fallout is hacking. I like the hacking mini game. I think it's interesting enough and just challenging enough where
but doesn't take too long.
Right. Yeah. And it does. I don't think it permanently locks you out if you screw up. I'm sure that exists somewhere, but I don't think that's usually a thing. And it gives you actual benefits. Like, hey, I'm going to turn the turrets onto my side. Cool. I just killed that entire room and didn't have to go in there and do anything.
Yeah.
I love those things. That's great. More games should have stuff like that.
Yeah. So what else have you been playing besides Mio?
Well, I'll list out a bunch of the games that I bought and kind of give very brief thoughts on them.
Okay.
The most recent game I bought before Mio was Cyberpunk 2077, which I've been wanting to play for quite a while. Biggest complaint, permanently in first person. You can't go third person, and I just really dislike that in these kind of games. It doesn't need to be
third person in The Last Caretaker either, and I also wish you could do that sometimes.
I don't need to be first person. It makes me I have much more difficulty navigating then. But it seems interesting. I'm only like 6 hours in, and I think I'm still in the tutorial area, so I don't have proper. I also downloaded Chained Echoes, which is one of those like 2D RPG type games, like a Final Fantasy-esque thing. I'm only like 4 hours into that, but that was recommended to me by my friend, and he's been trying to get me to play it for a while, so I started. It's good. I have to. It involves more. It's got more story to it than, and so does Cyberpunk, which is why I'm not playing them as much because I often play games while like we're watching a TV show I don't really care about. I got a couple other Metroidvanias, Otto and Record of Lodos War. Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth is the name of that full one.
That is
those are both,
title. Oof.
They're both fine. I got Castaway, which is a Zelda-like. That was pretty fun.
I played that. Yeah, I
think it was really short as well.
Yeah, but it's so short that it has like a speedrun mode because it kind of knows you're gonna potentially run it really fast.
Yeah, I was disappointed in how short it is. I think I've played 38 minutes and I think I beat it.
Yeah, it's very short.
Yeah,
but it's made like by one guy. He also made this other game called Lunark. That was the game he made before Castaway. If you like flashback, out of this world-esque gameplay, play Lunark. It's good. And
the
also
other
short.
game I got, and you'll be interested in this, is called Space Venture. And this is particularly exciting for me because the very first thing I ever backed on Kickstarter was this adventure game by the two guys from Andromeda, i.e. the guys who made Space Quest.
Oh.
And it just finally came out.
Whoa.
So that tells you how long ago that was.
Yeah,
because this is when Kickstarter was like, "Oh, what's Kickstarter?"
Yeah,
it took them forever. I like it, but it does not play very well on the Steam Deck.
Oh, yeah. Well, adventure games don't really lend themselves to the Steam Deck as well.
Point and click. Like,
but I always play mine docked. But yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And even then, like just moving a cursor around the screen, I've got a touchpad. Why not?
Yeah, that's true.
But it just it's very, very buggy on there, and I don't know if it's very, very buggy generally or if it's very, very buggy on the Steam Deck because they just really don't play games in any other way, other than like I want a console for everything. I don't want to play games on my computer. I'm working at this thing all day.
I know.
I don't want to sit in front of it.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I think I beat the first like space station that you start at. Mm-hmm. I haven't tried anything else because I got so frustrated by some of the bugs. Like literally multiple times, I had to just quit and start it over again because it got into a bad state. Like not start the whole game over, but start from my last save. But I had to actually quit the game and then go to my last save for it to get out of the bad state, and that's a problem. Come on, two guys from Andromeda, you can do better. But it's fun.
Shots across the bow.
I miss Roger Wilco. You're a mechanic, janitor-y type person, just like Roger Wilco, the janitor. Mm-hmm. But this is more of like one of these guys. He's like a big guy and he talks. That's not exact, but the impression that you get from that voice, that's this guy. Yeah. It's fine. It's fun. Got a little robot dog that is also your toolbox. It's kind of cool.
Oh, that's cute.
I hope I can play more of it. Is kind of where that one is. What about you? What else are you playing?
So the other games I played, I started a playthrough of The Outer Worlds 2.
Ooh.
Which is a sequel to The Outer Worlds, which is made by Obsidian, who made...
Not to be confused with Outer Wilds.
Right.
It's a totally different game.
Yeah. I mean, you should play The Outer Wilds 2, audience. I tried it. I kind of bounced off it, but I'm in the minority, I think. I think a lot of people thought it was one of the best games of all time.
I am in the same boat. My only problem with this, I have a lot of trouble navigating 3D space in video games, and you are on a time limit, and I had to do that, and I can't do those two things together.
Yeah, it's like one of those games where I think if you really vibe with it and lock in, it can be an insanely cool experience. But I just, for whatever reason, I didn't. But The Outer Worlds, made by Obsidian, the people who made Fallout New Vegas,
the best,
was a great game. I really enjoyed The Outer Worlds. It was not like crazy popular. Yeah, it wasn't a crazy popular game, but it was a solid, first-person RPG in that same way that I enjoyed. And The Outer Worlds 2, thus far, seems very similar. Very good world building. It's got some kind of tongue-in-cheek humor. I think I just haven't played it enough to really give a real review, but it's good. The other game that I've been playing just by myself is the Talos Principle 2.
Oh, I have that, I think.
Which is a sequel to the Talos Principle, which was and still is one of my favorite puzzle games of all time.
Oh no, I have not played that. That's on my list.
I really, really enjoyed the Talos Principle, which is kind of a first person, although you can also go into third person. You are a robot. There's a theme here. And you have to solve these puzzles where you're basically just trying to get from point A. You go in a room and there's a thing you need, but there's doors and obstacles in the way. But what I think set it apart from other first person puzzle games is the world building and the lore, like the story behind it, which once again I don't want to really ruin on here, is great. And thus far, the Talos Principle 2 kind of runs right past that and like takes the ending of that game and goes forward like several years into the future and makes the world bigger and is just more and bigger, and so far really, really good. Highly recommend. Cool. If you like puzzle games, if you like world building, and it runs fine on the Steam Deck, although it only runs at 720, which is kind of sometimes the detail on some games that are highly graphical 3D kind of games is not really served well by 720, and it will be easier to see and see greater detail on 1440 on a PC. So, but I'd say for the most part, it works. It just doesn't look the best on a Steam Deck, but it runs fine. So that's good.
I'm adding Talos Principle to my wish list.
You should play the first one if you haven't.
I looked at it. I think I did, but it was so long ago.
Okay.
But it only came out 2 years ago. No, that's this year. That's this game that only came out 2 years ago. This game came out. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I did play this on a different platform forever ago, but I don't remember it very well. But as I was looking at the video, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that thing. Okay, I remember that. I might go and just like read the Wikipedia and refresh my memory and then go play Talos.
Yeah, well, near the end of the Talos Principle 1, the puzzles get pretty crazy. Like I would say they get to like the Witness level in terms of you don't even notice what is a puzzle. And then when you do, you're like, whoa, like you don't think they're going to go to that level of detail, but they do for the really, really hard puzzles. And I will admit that I had to use a guide for the really, really hard stuff. Much like with The Witness, if you want to get the really, really hard stuff, it's unlikely that you will just stumble upon it on your own because it's that deep. So it's that level of puzzle game. And then I just wanted to talk about one more that I've played about 8 hours of, which is this game called Star Rupture. And basically,
it's on my list.
to be negative about it, I will say it is Satisfactory light.
Okay.
So if you like Satisfactory, you will like this game. The problem is that I have played like 150 hours of Satisfactory. Like I played to the end and did like almost all the achievements, and that game is amazing. Like 5-star, 100%.
I still haven't played it. I'm.
But you've played Factorio, so you
love
Satisfactory, I think. As long as you're okay with the first-person, third-person 3D world.
That's why I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, well, if that's a problem, then yeah, Star Rupture will also be a problem. But for those people who are not bothered by that and enjoy that kind of gameplay, Star Rupture is great. It looks great. The Star Rupture mechanic is really neat, but it's basically
Are you
Satisfactory
rupturing
light.
stars? Like you're
So every hour, 45 minutes to an hour, a nearby star ruptures, and if you are not in a building, it will destroy you. And it shoots a bright light, and then a wall of flame just goes like across the whole world and burns all the plants, dries up all the water, and then you wait 20 minutes or so, and everything comes back. And then in another 30 minutes, it happens again. And that's the cycle.
So it's got like a Majora's Mask
I haven't played
aspect
that game,
of like.
so sure, I don't know.
Oh my God, you got to play that game. But it's got an aspect where like, okay, we're resetting the world periodically. What's it called?
That.
Breath of the Wild did that to some
moon,
extent with enemies.
The Blood Moon, yeah.
So
it has a Blood Moon mechanic that looks really cool. I have to say, they did an amazing job on the actual phenomena. phenomenon that occurs.
Do,
But beyond that, it's basically Satisfactory. So if you like Satisfactory, they simplify a lot of the mechanics. So in terms of like the nitty gritty of connecting things and worrying about output and all that stuff, it's there but simpler. So yeah, if I hadn't played 150 hours of Satisfactory, I'd probably be all over this. But because I have, I played 8 hours and kind of got the gist, and then I was like, eh. But also, it's also early access, and they're going to add more stuff. So yeah,
That's one of the reasons I don't play early access games.
yeah, it was only $15 though. So I'm like, and it's a game to play with my wife, and she wanted to try it. So that's probably why I've played more games like this because of her.
The family does not enjoy playing video games with me.
Yeah,
Or
well,
generally.
That's fine. I mean, you just do other stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think. There's
Although
other things
over
to do.
the winter break, we did play Pictionary on Netflix several times, and that was kind of cool.
That's right. Netflix has games. I keep forgetting that.
I was like, I didn't feel like plugging in my Steam Deck and hooking up Jackbox and all that because I have those ready to go. Usually when we travel, I'll bring like the dock so I can hook it up and things. I didn't feel like doing that, and I was like, we have all these things on our TV. What can I play?
Well,
I was like,
speaking of
Pictionary, perfect.
Speaking of things that I hadn't touched in a while, we actually hooked up our Switch, which has been off ever since we got the Steam Deck. And
Pretty much same.
yeah, we played a little bit of Animal Crossing because they actually updated it, even though they said they wouldn't. That was a nostalgia hit. But then I was like, do I really want to play this game? No, not really. But I did also play a little bit of Tetris 99, which is still solid.
That's a fun game.
I played F-Zero 99, still solid. And then also, more importantly, with my daughter, I've played Nintendo Sports several times. We played some volleyball, some tennis, some soccer, some badminton. That game is still fun, and people are still playing it. And I actually missed playing that because that's an experience that exists on the Switch that you really can't get anywhere else. So it's very unique. But what I think the larger statement I wanted to make about playing a lot of games lately, but not working on building a game, is that it's been kind of discouraging to play all these super awesome games that I know are not made by two neophytes like we are in terms of making games, and usually they have large teams and et cetera, et cetera. But still,
or
it's
at least, experience having made games.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant by neophyte. We're not neophyte programmers, but we're kind of neophyte game devs compared to some of these projects we're talking about. And it's really hard to these games are awesome and I'm having a lot of fun. And then I'm like, I couldn't make this game, at least not at this point. What am I doing? Like worrying about, setting up a system in a game so that when I pick up a gem, it registers properly. Like I'm still having trouble with that in Defold, and it's I know it's not the takeaway that I should be taking away, but it's what's happening. I'm just being honest that it's hard to play these games that are way more complicated than I can even begin to think about. The graphics are amazing, the sound is amazing, the mechanics are amazing. What am I doing? Like, what is the point of me even doing it at this point? I don't know. Help turn my frown upside down, Matt, hopefully.
Well, I was thinking about this morning as well. I think what is stymieing us the most is we don't have we don't know enough about this. It's not second nature enough for us to just jump in and do it, right? We can't just quickly I have an idea, make something happen. That at least that's what's stymieing me. I have ideas and I'm like, I want to just start throwing stuff at them and trying it. But I don't have that sandbox environment that I can just do that. Okay, here is my Metroidvania skeleton. It is a platformer. All of these, you have a character, it already works. It's easy to put a platform here and you jump on it and you don't fall through, right? That level, you hit this enemy, you die. And so I feel like that's what we need, and I'm sure that exists.
Well, that requires us to also decide the kind of game we're making, which we're still
Well,
kind of
that's
in
the
the
thing.
middle
I
of.
want to be able to say like, oh, okay, I want to try out a Metroidvania idea. Nope, I don't want that. I want to try out an RTS type idea. Like, I think we just need maybe to find like open source games and start messing in them rather than trying to build one from scratch. I just haven't had the time, energy,
Yeah.
or desire to do that. But I feel like that because I like that's what we did with the astronaut game, right? We both
Yeah.
grabbed that and we played around with it. It's much easier, and I think that's how we all learned how to code. Like people of our generation, anyway.
Right.
We
Use
saw
source
a thing.
on a web page.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what is this? What's all this text? What is
Oh,
this doing?
What if I change this to this? Hey, look, it did the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's what we need because that gets the excitement. We still need to figure out the fundamentals and foundations.
Yeah. There's too many
But
options, man.
the sandbox is what I want.
Yeah.
And so like maybe that's it. Like I've been approaching it as a coding project specifically because that's what I do is I code. that's my jam. And I think maybe that's not the right way. Maybe like we need something like a game maker or something like Game Maker Studios or whatever it is, where it's like they're giving us all the things and we can't get super deep on any of the details. You know, so we can't make anything super unique necessarily, but we get the
Right.
gist and start to like play around with the idea and be like, okay, I like this, and then put that into our own game engine that we're using, Love 2D, whatever,
Right. Well,
and like really build it because that would give us a lot of like prototyping of like, okay, this is the game that we think is fun. Let's build this one.
so what I'm hearing, what I'm synthesizing from what you're saying is that, and originally we were kind of avoiding Unity and Unreal because they were too much, and we were said no, let's go with the simpler environment and kind of build from the bottom up. But it's almost like I'm hearing you say that we need to like install Unity and try one of their templates tutorials to kind of get that juice going. Is that what I'm
Not
hearing?
necessarily. I feel like Game Maker Studio is more the level. Like Unity is still like here's a game engine that does a lot of stuff for you, but you still have to learn so much. I don't want to learn a bunch about the system I'm using. I just want to play. I want to say drop character here. Character has code X. Go, right? Less complication in building. That's one of the things I liked about Pygame is that's how it always felt to me. As I was just like drop stuff in, and it just happened. And Love 2D is kind of like that, except I don't know Lua, and so I keep having to go back. And what's the other one that we were playing around with?
Defold.
Defold, same deal. Like it's that learning curve that's killing me because it's keeping us from getting to the fun part of this. I can go back and learn all the fundamentals, or I'll learn the fundamentals as I go if I have the fun part to play with. And so maybe we just need to pick an idea or two, grab a tutorial in whatever language we want to, Love 2D, Defold, Unity, whatever we want to do, and just start playing with it rather than trying to build from the ground up. We've got several ideas of what we want to do.
So I just dropped something in our chat that I've watched a couple of these devlogs over the past few weeks, and it's this graphic designer who is remaking Zelda 1, just the first dungeon for now, but it's hand-drawn, and it looks flippin' amazing. Like this person, I've looked at some of their animations that they've made, like outside of this project, and they have a similar style. But he's doing like a YouTube dev log of how he's going about making this remake of Zelda 1, but in hand-drawn. And he's doing it in Godot and talking about the pros and cons of using Godot to make this. I mean, this is not necessarily the kind of game we want to make, but it was very inspiring to see this.
I like just jumped ahead in the video you sent. It looks cool.
It looks really cool. And I mean, obviously he's remaking a game that exists. I don't know how Nintendo hasn't, thrown a nuclear bomb on this yet because they're infamous for being litigious about their IP. But regardless,
I think as long as he's not selling the game, like if
Yet.
he's not making money off it.
Right.
But this brings up one of the things that I struggle with a lot in games is I have effectively no artistic skill. So drawing is out. And I don't find it easy to like. I will just put a circle on the screen and I'm happy,
Right.
but it doesn't get that visceral excitement that like if like I need to learn sprite sheets. I think is really what it boils down to, and really grok them.
Yeah.
But that sounds like that's so boring.
Well, because I will just say one of the awesome takeaways from this is just seeing him make the animations for Link in all 8 directions and like the running and idling. Like, it's amazing how inspiring and how engaging, much more engaging it is just having that versus the circle. Like, it's almost like you want to play the game and make it better because you want to see that. Whereas I don't really care that much about seeing a circle move. Like, yes, the circle works, but we're beyond circle. And obviously, I'm not saying we need to make something of this caliber, but there's something in between circle and this insanity. And I don't know what it is, but like I almost feel like I need that to get to have any investment in it, you know? At some point. Not right away, but at some point that's crucial.
Maybe we need to just like find a good sprite library.
We need to bring in an artist. Like a visual
I have
artist.
artist friends, but they don't do this kind of stuff. So
Well, but they could learn.
yeah. But I mean, but that adds yet another layer of complication on top.
No,
of it.
I know. Well, but I have something I just watched that actually relates to this. I was just watching an episode of Hermitcraft, which is all those people who play Minecraft together on a server, and there's one character who decided they wanted to fight a wither, which is one of the like hardest boss characters in Minecraft. And you basically build a little structure, and then when you put the last block, it makes the wither, and then it flies around and shoots skulls at you, and it's really hard. And they spent, I don't know, maybe hours. There was 3 of them trying to fight this boss, and they were like getting it down to like 2/3 health, and then it regens back up to full, and then they got it down to half health, and then it went back to full, and they kept trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing, and it was hilarious, but it wasn't until they asked the other people that were on the server at the time, like, hey, we need help, that they were able to accomplish their task. Like, they got 1/3 of the way, a half of the way, but it was really like the community that did the trick in the end. And I'm kind of using that as like a metaphor for, or an analog, I don't know, for I've spent so much time in my life doing programming things by myself, and I can get to a certain level, but I think I have like a peak, and I'm sure the two of us can do more together, but we also have a limit. And I'm not sure if we need a third person, but I don't think we should entirely discount that.
Oh, I wouldn't
forever.
discount it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not at all. Like, I always have thought when we get to the art part, contracting that out. But while we're learning and playing, I don't want to do that, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, okay, let's just go download the links, download the Link to the Past sprite sheets, use those for everything, play, great, that works. For like literally, if we're like, oh, I'm going to make a Zelda, like, use that.
Yeah, use Zelda
and we can,
until it's not Zelda anymore. Yeah.
Oh, we're going to make a Super Metroid, like, use that.
Yeah.
We have an idea about this other game. We want to make a Fallout-esque game. Cool, let's go use all of the graphics from the original Fallout 1, right? Like, start, or, maybe we find open source games that are close and just start tweaking them to see like, oh, I like this. Oh, I don't really like this is really hard, but we have to do it in languages that we're willing to continue forward in to some extent. It's too much. We're spending too much time learning and not enough time doing.
Well, and I will also say that, I mean, this hasn't changed during this whole project, but like, if I was like 16 and had like no real workload at school and I had
no
ample free time
responsibility
and no responsibilities, like, we would be so much further and deeper on this, because it was like when I started learning guitar. When I started learning guitar as a teenager, every day I spent several hours just playing the guitar. Like, I just did it like almost unconsciously. But like every time I think about working on this project, it's like I have to like make time. I have to shift my brain into like, okay, I'm doing game dev now. I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah.
Remove distractions. And that's honestly just not a reality often.
Yeah.
As much
Well,
as
because you're
like.
doing the same thing with work all day.
Right.
Like you don't.
Yeah, I'm looking at code.
It's the responsibilities.
Fixing,
By the time I don't have responsibilities in the day, the last thing I
just
want to
consume. I just want to sit
Yeah.
and consume.
Thanks,
So
capitalism.
what you're saying is like in order to really get this off the ground, we maybe need to carve out some actual time, like take a weekend, go to a cabin and do nothing but jam on this for a while to at least get it off the ground, and then we can go back to doing here and there. Is that something you'd be open to? I don't know.
That's not a terrible idea.
We could go to your nature sanctuary.
Well, we'll have to wait a few months before we're able to do that.
Okay.
At least.
Well, I'm just, we have no real time limit on this. This gets done when it gets done. But like, I have done a game jam with people before. Like I worked with a friend of mine and my wife and a few other friends where we just worked on a game for like 24 hours on a weekend. And that was super fun. And the ideas flow.
I do think that's what we need. It's just to like
Yeah.
get it. Like we need that initial burst to get a thing that we can start toying with.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. And I've tried to do that to some extent with like Slingshot Metroidvania. I'm like, cool. I proved my vague idea
That
is
you can do it,
functional, and then I didn't touch it again.
Yeah.
You got one power up. Good job.
Yeah. Well, and that's
can
not
jump
nothing.
slightly higher.
That was definitely worth making, worth doing, worth referring to. But if we're doing this together, I feel like, we need that like initial surge of energy and effort. And then once we have that thing like growing here, then we can go off on our separate ways and like start picking at it. But I feel like we're both kind of doing this like hodgepodge hit and miss on our own.
Yeah.
And it's not really converging into anything that's going anywhere yet.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we need to be working on the same project. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
And so like we got to pick the game we want to make, and we got to pick the platform we're going to make it on, and then just go.
Yeah.
Hey, I made a title screen. Cool. You hit start, it doesn't do anything. I know. Can you go build the options page or whatever?
Yeah. Hey, there's no sound. Can you make some sound for this? Okay. Can you make a graphic that isn't a circle? Okay. Yeah. Well, let's
Go figure out sprites, dude.
Yeah. Let's talk offline about that.
Yeah.
But I think this is a worthwhile effort to really get this going. That's just how it feels.
Yeah.
So
I think
awesome.
so too. And if we need to wait a while to do that, we can always pivot back to reading articles. We could do articles on game dev if we wanted to and discuss those.
That's not a bad idea.
There are things we can do
We can.
to
But
help you, the listener, still enjoy listening to us.
Yes. I mean,
Mike's mom. How are you?
Hi, Mom. I think we covered generally what often happens during the holidays. Advent of Code happens. Other things happen. We lose the momentum. We can get the momentum back, but we're not quite there yet. But I think playing games, worthwhile effort to inform. Even if it does discourage me, hopefully in the end it inspires me. But it's worth doing, I think. So I think that wraps up this episode of Hacking the Grepson. Thank you for listening. If you want to hear more episodes, you can go to hackingthegrepson.com, and we will continue to try to put these out. So far, 4+ years, every other week on Wednesday. Haven't missed one. Go us.
Woo!
But until the
Go
next time.
you, really.
Yeah, well, the collective us. But until the next time the collective us talks at you, we now return you to your regularly scheduled lives already in progress.